No price talk and no Lambos. This is not another crypto podcast. Welcome to Ignition. I'm your host, Gillian Gottsell, and each week we will be looking at the problems solved by blockchain. I'll be going deep with the people building the apps and communities which are changing the world around us.
Good morning and welcome to Ignition, the podcast from EOS Dublin with me, Gillian Gottsell. Now today I have a very important guest. His name is Pete Wood, who is the CEO of CoinBurp in the UK. Hello Pete, how are you?
Very good, Jill. How are you doing?
Excellent. Of course, I have to confess, we met recently at a very, very fun event in Dublin. We did the charity match with them. Was it Callum Best? I can't remember. Was he there? Do you think he was one of the people there?
I think he appeared somewhere along the lines. I believe you got a picture with him.
Yeah, I think I might have. a huge girl crush on him, but never mind. Anyway, it was good fun. It was all for charity. It was great crack. So, Pete, you have quite an adventurous background in crypto, including like dawn raids from the police. So tell me, how did you first get into crypto and why were the police knocking down your door at 6 a.m?
Yeah, sure. So my journey into crypto began about 5 years ago. I saw a guy at my old office. He was plugging in a Bitcoin ASIC miner to mine some crypto back then, and I was fascinated when he was telling me about how he could make a return on his investment and just sort of trying to sell the concept of Bitcoin. I sort of went away and read the white paper, and I was absolutely fascinated with the ethos behind it, the reason behind it was created, and all that sort of stuff. So ever since then, about 5 years ago, I got into it. After reading about it, I started brokering crypto. So I was buying it from wholesalers, like I think it was Bitstamp back in 5 years ago, and I was reselling it on a very popular peer-to-peer platform website in the UK called Local Bitcoins.
Of course.
Since then, just sort of brought just sort of made a load of a decent chunk of cash from the £1,000 I began with. It started increasing. We've done turnover of about 100 million within 4 years. Yeah, it was quite a journey. I think the bull run helped quite a bit in 2017. But yeah, I mean, just to bring it back to the dawn raid. Yeah, so I mean, back in 2014, 2015, Bitcoin wasn't something known much about by the police. The police were, I think they rather react than research. So the minute they smelt something suspicious, they immediately applied for a warrant and knocked down my door at about 6:30 a.m, accusing me of being involved in credit card fraud. Ultimately, what happened was there was a purchaser of crypto from us, I believe. He purchased small amounts and he was buying stolen credit card details to use on the train lines to buy season tickets. But yeah, I got implicated in that somehow.
Oh, that's mad. And it was such a little minor crime that I'm not obviously advocating for crime, but it wasn't as though he was running like brothels and drug laundering. It was just trying to buy train tickets.
Yeah, it was just. I was told this when I got. Yeah, I know. I mean, I imagine the dark web has tons of different things in there. And back then in 2015, I think it was, the police weren't as educated as they are today. So they actually had me on a piece of paper. I remember them sliding this piece of paper over to me, and at the top it had Operation. Can't remember the name, but it had me at the top of the list with like a mafia squad when you have the head honcho at the very top and of like 12 of your underlings under it. Sort of had me at the top of these. I think it was about 8 guys on there they had implicated in the case as well. But it was interesting days. I was pretty scared, as you can probably imagine.
Of course. I mean, on the one hand, we're laughing about it now, but I wouldn't like the police knocking down my door at 6:30 a.m. But of course, now they often come to you for advice, don't they?
Yeah, it's changed quite a lot. I believe the process now is they will do a search for me on their police databases and see that I've been very compliant. I mean, I've got nothing to hide. They see me as, I guess, more of a crypto expert. So rather than knocking the door down, they just knock on the door, and then I can answer and be more be polite, invite them in for a cup of tea and speak to them. But for them, it's more advisory. They ask about cases, ask if anything we need to update them on in the space. I'd like to think the police have probably dealt with a fair few cases since 2015, and they're a lot more educated now. They do their due diligence before kicking down doors at 6:30 a.m.
I know. It's a good story to tell your grandchildren.
Yeah, definitely.
So you, in this area, you've been a miner, you've been a broker, and then tell me what was the origin behind CoinBurp?
Yeah. So the website Local Bitcoins, it's in the name. It's only dealing in Bitcoins. That was one of the reasons I moved away, because we wanted to be able to create a dedicated platform for customers to trade multiple cryptocurrencies. The actual process to purchasing crypto on that website is pretty difficult, I imagine. When I first started using the website, it was quite difficult to navigate. Even though it's one of the biggest market leaders in the UK, I was surprised that's a website that was very tricky to go around, was performing so well. So I sort of took a bit of a risk using the profit we've generated from my other company, decided to create this dedicated platform, CoinBurp.com, where as in you've had too much beer and you've got to burp. Yeah.
Which is some people hate it. People like Marmite. I think it's a great name. So I hate the name, but you know what? You won't forget it.
That's the whole thing. I mean, a lot of the time, it happens all the time. I tell them the company I'm working for, and they sort of stop for a minute and just ask me to repeat myself because they think they didn't
repeat yourself. Oh, that's a pun.
Yeah, yeah. That's a good one, actually. I might use that in the future. That's pretty good. Yeah, they asked me to repeat it. The second time they hear it, they understand it, and I don't think they ever forget it from there on.
Wow. So tell people who haven't maybe seen CoinBurp what it is and what it looks like.
Yeah, so we're super friendly, slick. We're a fun website. We're just trying to make it so easy for anyone to get into the crypto space. We're a huge believer of education and community. I personally feel that if we're really to grow the crypto or blockchain space, we need to educate people on the usage and the benefits of using blockchain tech. For me, that looks like investing, whether it's £5 or £10, it doesn't matter. But when you become financially invested in something, you're much more inclined to read up on it, do your research, and find out about the benefits. So, in order to fulfill my mission of what I'm near enough certain that blockchain is going to be prevalent in the future, 10 to 20 years time, whether people know they're actually using it or not, they will feel the benefits of blockchain. So, if I can play a part in my journey and my career of doing something good towards that, then I'm all up for it.
Oh, that's cool. Who would be your competitor? Who are you aiming for?
Yeah, so it's the retail market generally at the minute. I mean, again, in our mission to grow the market, we need to focus on the everyday person. The UK market on retail, other than Local Bitcoins, is dominated by Coinbase. Well, it was dominated
by Coinbase, do we?
No, I think they're turning into a bank, if I'm being perfectly honest there. You hear stories. Yeah, I compare. I mean, they had this, it was about a month ago, they started doing this. I think they coined it it was like an anti-money laundering check. But what they've done, they accept UK. So if you're a UK customer and you're dealing with Coinbase, they would happily accept your money. So you do a bank transfer to them of £5,000. They would happily accept the money, allow you to trade it. But the minute you try and withdraw it out of the platform, there was a hold on it, or they need to ask additional questions. And when I first heard of that, I was thinking about banks. The banks, they love to accept the money first and ask questions later. So if they can use your money to loan out, to give a mortgage to someone on the street, I'm more than happy to do it. But if you go into the bank and say, I want to withdraw £2,000, they've got about 100 questions to ask you.
Yes, actually, I had a recent experience of that with one of the kids with an education fund to get some money out for fees. And I had to go through the hoops. And I'm like, this is my money. Why on earth? And you took it in. You know who I am. I'm a citizen of this country. And the hoops I have to go through to get the fee money out, horrendous.
Yeah, I think it's crazy. It's just, I personally think it's just a corrupt system from top to bottom. We see so many stories about the penalties large banks are having to pay for money laundering in the billions. No one faces a custodial sentence.
No.
It's just, but they know. I mean, it's just they know that they're obviously making tons more money than they're paying the fine. So it's a business decision to continue what they're doing.
Well, it's like here in Ireland, we had a scandal. Still do have a scandal on tracker mortgages. They were issued at the height of the Celtic Tiger. They were loss leaders, basically. And then they were used to sell on other private loans, whatever, for mortgages. And then when the crash came, all the major banks, in collusion, decided to withdraw these. Now, they legally weren't allowed to, but they didn't tell anybody that. They withdrew them. So people went from a tiny mortgage, interest rate, up to like maybe 10%. And of course, they couldn't pay it. So people lost their lives, they lost their homes, they lost their family homes, they had all this thing. And there's like 30,000 mortgages affected in this way. Wow. And no one will go I would guarantee that no one will go to jail. People actually died. People committed suicide because they lost everything. No one will go to jail for that. So anyway, I'm very glad that companies like CoinBurp are around the place to change, to even up the big level playing field. So recently, you have some good news. You tell me what coins you have, and tell me what coin you just added.
Yeah, sure. So on launch, we actually had 4 cryptocurrencies. We launched about 4 months ago. We had Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, and Ethereum. Only recently, we've released EOS. So customers can now, they can deposit EOS or deposit at the minute Great British Pounds, but that's looking to expand very soon, and trade against EOS. Yeah, you can buy EOS, sell EOS.
Perfect.
Good.
Do you think you'll have some of the sister chains on there as well for EOS, like in time?
Most definitely. We're looking, part of my community and education drive is to be really inclusive with our customers and ask them for ideas on which coins they want to see on our platform. So in time, most definitely, we're looking to take ideas from our customers, listen to our customers, and then implement the additional coins. But EOS sidechains coins, definitely, we are.
Oh, excellent. And you mentioned the Great British Pound, of course, but you're going to bring the euro on in soon as well, I think?
Yeah, so we've just, I think it was yesterday, I finalised a deal with a internationally recognised bank to offer us euros. So customers in the very near future will be able to deposit euros, withdraw euros, and obviously trade against euros for any of their crypto, whether that's euro to crypto or crypto to euro. That functionality will be available in the very near future.
Brilliant. So finally, Pete, what are the long-term plans? So I say long-term, I say 5 years. That's a long time with blockchain. Where do you think you'll be in 5 years' time?
Yeah, so we're actually in the process of preparing for a fundraise. So I've had to go through the process of jotting down exactly what I've read about. Yeah, I do. Ultimately, the aim is to build a decentralized bank. So we want to be able to provide customers with a decentralized solution for banking. We don't see why banks need to hold the money. We're going to use the power of blockchain to allow customers to hold their own money on their own phones or wallets or laptops without a bank being able to control it. Along the journey, there's a ton of things we want to do. Interesting ones possibly for you guys would be 100% insured cold storage custody.
Wow. Yes.
That's for retail. So that would be a game changer, I feel, to give the reassurance that if you hold crypto with us, it will be 100% insured. You hear many stories about hacking and there's Bitfinex paying back in Bitfinex tokens and this sort of stuff. With the insurance, we're hoping it will give the reassurance to the customers that they need. Other than that, card payments very soon as well. Euros will be first, I think, within the next few months. We're looking to implement card payments. It just aligns very well with our offering to the retail, and I'm sure there'll be tons of stuff between there, but ultimately ending with a decentralized banking solution.
Wow, that is fantastic. Financial freedom. Woo!
Exactly, that's what we're all after.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. Well, so thank you so much for your time today, Pete. Very interesting. Keep an eye on the site that you cannot possibly forget, CoinBurp. We look forward to having you back on Ignition Podcast again soon.
Thank you, Jill. Thanks very much.